In today's economy, every dollar matters more than ever. In this video, I've compiled the best money-saving tips from real people who are trying to stretch their dollars so they can pay their other bills. Please subscribe, like, and comment below. It helps the algorithm so I can bring more content to you. Thank you.
Here's 5 frugal things I do to save money as someone who took out $160,000 in student loans and is trying to pay it back. The first one is I don't turn on the heat. I'll really bundle up at home, and I have 2 comforters which I wrap myself around when I sleep at night. Next, I only have coffee at home, and I kind of do like a double espresso, which will cost me about 8 cents a cup, which is a lot more affordable than Starbucks. I also don't really buy any drinks and mostly just drink water from my Brita pitcher. So no canned soda or fizzy drinks at all. Next one's pretty obvious, but I try to cook most of my meals instead of eating out, and I try to make things that are very cost effective, such as chicken or eggs or potatoes. Cheap to buy, but filling and nutritious. And the last thing is I don't pay for gym membership. I sort of have a setup at home already with adjustable weights and a Peloton. There was some upfront costs about 4 years ago, but it was worth the investment.
I see a lot of people getting all those Amazon kitchen gadgets and just like, oh, when I move out, I'm going to need all this kitchen stuff. Let me tell you what you do really need. Find an old crock pot from a thrift store, $5 to $10. Literally, it helps so much, especially if you work full-time and are low income. You don't have a lot of time to cook. You work a lot, so you're really tired, especially if you're doing a more physical labor job. Just literally put in the food before your shift, come home, have dinner after your shift. It is literally, I cannot recommend it enough, especially if you are low income, because it helps save a lot of money. And crock pots aren't just for 40-year-old white women. They're actually really helpful. So I would really recommend this, especially if you have a really tight budget and don't need a fancy appliance.
These are 3 things I do that are frugal but not cheap. Number 1 is I cook at home but with quality ingredients. Even though I do cook at home a lot of times to save money and be healthy, I'm not just buying ramen noodles. I'm actually buying really fresh produce, most of the time organic, and really good quality meats. This is still way cheaper than going out to restaurants. I mean, an organic salmon will cost me half or a third of the price than at a really good quality restaurant. Number 2 is I invest in my wardrobe. I used to buy a lot of my fashion pieces at Shein, and we all know how long those last, so now I actually buy good quality staple pieces. So this would be like shoes, work pants, nice blouses, and these last a long time, and you can definitely tell if someone's buying good quality of clothes by what they're wearing. Number 3 is I choose experiences over clutter. You will never see me doing an Amazon haul because that's just not what I value. I do value experiences though. I think being frugal is all about alignment, what's important to you. So I'd love to know some of your hot takes on what's frugal but not cheap things that you do. And make sure to follow for more money moves that actually build wealth.
Frugal hacks that nobody does, but I do because I'm a freak. When my mascara runs out, I dip the brush in a little bit of water. Lasts so much longer. I order off the kids menu. I roll my windows down in 100-degree weather instead of using air conditioning. Ooh, I only buy generic brands. I keep my house at 78 degrees in the summer in Texas to conserve energy. I always take home my leftovers. If I want to go out to eat, but I make the choice to stay inside instead, I put the amount of money I would have spent going out into my emergency fund. I ration my toilet paper. I fill up my laundry detergent with water. Works just as well. Also works for shampoo and body wash. Only thing I ask for birthdays or Christmases is skincare products, so I never have to buy them myself. I bring homemade tea to bars so I won't have to buy alcohol. I always check the price per ounce in grocery stores so I can make sure that I'm buying the cheapest option. I only buy gas Monday through Thursday. Follow for more.
Here are 3 frugal hot takes for you. Number 1, stop using more than one dryer sheet. I'm saying that as a girl with a lot of pets. You only need one. Or skip them all together and use wool dryer balls. Thank me later. Frugal hot take number 2, why are we acting like paper towels are a necessity? You are spending so much money on paper towels. A dish towel does the same thing every single time and is honestly better. I feel like I really get in there with the dish towel. Obviously not for everything like a bathroom, you're going to use paper towels, but for your countertops, use a dish towel and hand wash it when you're done. Frugal hot take number 3, multiple streaming services at once is cable in disguise. You're paying for a cable bill. Pick one, rotate monthly, thank me later. Love you guys, stay frugal.
I'm tired of always being broke, so here are 4 things that I do to save some money. Number 1, when I go to the grocery store, I know exactly what I'm gonna eat and when I'm gonna eat it. With today's grocery prices, wasting food is wasting money. I highly recommend that the day before you go grocery shopping, create a meal plan for each day that includes all meal times, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then shop accordingly. Number 2, I meal prep. I started meal prepping to achieve my fitness goals, but after doing it for a while, I realized it was helping me save money too. I meal prep lunch and dinner, which lasts to about 4 to 5 days, which in return has decreased the amount of times that I go out to eat. Also, side note, I know this video is about finances, but if you're like me and work a 9 to 5, meal prepping gives you so much time back during the busy work week. Number 3, I get off my phone. Scrolling on my phone and seeing what others have or what new collection a brand is releasing is my biggest temptation. When I feel the urge to spend money on things I don't need, I put my phone down and divert my attention to something else, such as reading, journaling, playing my Nintendo Switch. These hobbies are not only a good distraction, but also beneficial. Number 4, I freeze my bread. Sourdough, bagels, McMuffins, literally every single bread I have and I know there will be an excess of, I will freeze it. Because bread is expensive and I eat a lot of it.
Your electric company is going to hate me for exposing this. Hey, you ready for bed? Not quite. I need to start a load of laundry and run the dishwasher. Let's just do it in the morning. Can't. That'll be more expensive. What do you mean? Electricity is charged at different rates throughout the day. There are cheaper hours and more expensive hours. Oh, so it's more pricey and they charge more when the demand is higher? Correct. So generally the peak hours for electricity charges are in the late afternoon and evening. So roughly 4 to 9 p.m. is the most expensive. Yep, the cheapest time is generally 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. But I'm guessing it's probably different based on where you live. It definitely can be. It's best to check with your local provider for the exact schedule. Got it. And what appliances are best to run during these off-peak hours? I'd start with your washing machine and dishwasher. Done. How'd you know about this? Addison taught me. She shares all the ways to save us money.
Here are some things that I do in a day that sound broke, but they're actually smart. Number 1, when you go out and you're not stocking up on napkins, what are you doing? The napkins are free. It is not stealing. If I'm out getting food, I grab as many napkins as I can. Most of the time, it's billion-dollar companies. They'll be okay if I take about 20 napkins. Number 2, cut your sponges in half. Literally increases the longevity of the sponge that you're using. You don't need that big of a sponge. Cut it in half. Number 3, if you cannot buy reusable bags, just reuse Ziploc bags. I reuse all my Ziploc bags. Like, why are we throwing away perfectly good bags? Number 4, when my soap gets about this much, I add more water to it to increase the longevity of my item. At the end of the day, it's still soap and my dishes are still getting clean. Number 5, this is a weird one. I don't have a microwave. For some reason, my brain thinks that if I have a microwave, I'm going to spend more money on things that need to be microwaved that I don't actually need. I don't need microwave popcorn. I should not be buying that. When I'm out at a restaurant, I order small. I order small because I have no microwave, so there's no point in having leftovers. Listen, don't judge me until you've tried it. What do y'all think? Do you think I'm broke or do you think I'm being frugal? Let me know. Love you guys. Stay frugal.
Please try to stock up on these things so that you can get through the next month. Flour essential. A big bag of rice, the biggest and cheapest that you can find. The biggest and cheapest thing of beans you can find. Salt is an absolute must. A big thing of the $1.25 oil from, Dollar Tree. Butter if you can get it. If you can't, don't stress about it. It's gonna be okay. Start grabbing any extra free condiments you see that you can just grab a little pocket full of. The cheap ramen, get the biggest cheap pack of ramen. I think they're like $1.50, $2 now, depending on your area. Baking soda and baking powder, because these two are not the same thing and they cannot be used interchangeably. Sugar, get a bag of sugar. I just have this because that's just what was on sale and that's what I needed to grab that day. Get a big bag. Again, get the biggest one you can get for the cheapest price you can get. Shelf stable milk. This is also from Dollar Tree. And one of the other things you're definitely going to want is eggs. Whatever the cheapest eggs you can get, snag you some eggs, okay? That'll help tie everything together. But also, if you can't get it, don't worry, we can make it work without the eggs.
Grocery bills are getting out of hand, so here are 5 underrated cheap foods that you can add to your grocery list this week. Lentils. You can buy a 1-pound bag for under $2, and it's a good replacement for any type of meat. So if you still need protein in your system, but you're getting priced out of having meat every single day, lentils is a really good option. Good for fiber, good for protein, really cheap. And if you still want that meat taste, you can actually put chicken bouillon in it and make it almost like a stew. Cabbage, versatile, cheap, long shelf life. You don't have to just make coleslaw out of it. You can make all different types of slaws. Like, I'm Salvadorian, we eat something called curtido, where it's just vinegared and salted, and you add in jalapenos, you add in carrots, you add in onions, and you can have that with any type of meat or rice. You can also add this to your soups, and it just adds a little bit more bulk and a little bit more veggies to it, or just saute it and use it in a stir fry. Now for some frozen options. Frozen spinach. I feel like frozen spinach is so underrated for $1, which is much cheaper than the fresh bag. So if you make eggs in the morning, just mixing this in, I usually like to heat it up in the microwave for a couple seconds before, and then I'll add it into my eggs. It's a good way to get your greens in. You can use it in smoothies, in your meats, in your soups. Frozen spinach is such a great and cheap option. Frozen mixed berries. Most people just end up using it in their yogurt in the morning, oatmeal in the morning, or maybe in like a smoothie. This is a good alternative to the fresh ones. And then lastly, for a snack, popcorn. Popcorn I feel like is so underrated outside just like a movie night. Like, you can just heat up a bag of popcorn whenever you want. It doesn't have to be a movie night or you sitting down to watch a series. Like, you can just have it as a snack. And it's a cheap option in comparison to some other stuff that may be bagged.
Hey guys, it's Maria and I'm here to help you save money on groceries. So here are 4 of my favorite tips to stretch your grocery dollar when you're flat broke. I'm an emergency room nurse now, but before that I got a degree in nutrition, and part of what we learned during that program was helping people on fixed incomes like WIC, Social Security, stuff like that, stretch their dollar and get the most healthy food for the least amount of money. So in the spirit of not making me feel like I have a bachelor's degree for no reason, I started this page to help you guys save money on groceries. So here are 4 of my favorite tips to stretch your dollar when you don't really have too many of them. Number 1 is volumizing. This is pretty much making it look like you have more food than you do. So let's say I only have 1 chicken breast to feed my family. I can stretch that and make it last a little bit longer by adding cheaper foods to it. So let's say I make the chicken breast, put it over some pasta with some vegetables, mix it all together, and it looks like there's more food than there was. By stretching proteins, which are usually the most expensive part on your plate, with cheaper ingredients like pasta, frozen vegetables, stuff like that, you can make more food out of less and make your meal a little bit more filling. Number 2 is not falling into the trap of convenience food. So let's say you're buying rice. Don't buy the 90-second microwavable rice that's $1 and is only going to make 1 serving. Get the bag of rice that's $2. It'll last a little bit longer. Yes, it's a little bit more time consuming and you have to make it, but it's going to save you money in the long run. Pantry staples like flour, rice, pasta cost next to nothing, and you can stretch them really far and do a lot of things with them. Tip number 3 to stretch your grocery budget is to go meatless at least once a week. There are a lot of filling vegetarian meals that you can make for your family that cost very little. Some of our favorite vegetarian meals are pizza, rice and beans, sweet and sour chickpeas, and I have lots of recipes like that on my page. And number 4 is when you do buy meat, try and get it on clearance, freeze it, and save it for another day.
If you don't know me, my name is Jessie. I'm a stay-at-home mom to 6 kids, trying to live as frugally as possible so we can pay off debt and save for the future. This is another video in my series about how to feed your family as cheaply as possible. This might not be an ideal meal for everybody, but it will feed your family and fill their bellies and give them nutrients. Beans are an excellent way to stretch a meal because they fill up the tummies more and they add extra fiber and protein, and they're super cheap. You can get dried beans, but I'm talking about canned beans. These are common items at food pantries and they're very cheap at Aldi, so I'm just using this as my base, but I will add other prices. My secret, if I'm having like chicken Alfredo, my secret to stretching that a little bit further is to pick a bean that is the same color as the dish that I'm eating. I put this on the stove top with whatever oil you have and then cook it up, kind of refry them, add some more liquid back in there once they're done, and then you use something like this from the Dollar Tree. This is a masher, like a potato masher, and you just mash those beans up until they're soft. I've even made this meat free and nobody even seemed to notice. Take egg noodles, which are very cheap at Aldi. Then you take cannellini beans, refry them, mash them up. You can add a little mozzarella cheese or Parmesan cheese and maybe a little bit of milk to make it a more sauce consistency. And then you just pour those beans over the pasta and make Alfredo. And there's no meat. It is a very cheap dish. You can get those ingredients at Aldi. A lot of times food pantries will give you a thing of noodles and different kinds of beans. You can use any kind of bean that you want, but this one just makes it look more like Alfredo so that my kids aren't asking a lot of questions.
Welcome back to Frugal Friday. This is your reminder that homemade broth is basically free and it tastes way better than anything you'll find in a box. Anytime we finish a rotisserie chicken or cook a whole chicken from our freezer, I never throw away the bones. I toss the carcass into the pot along with vegetable scraps. If I have carrots or celery that are starting to look sad, or even just their peelings, those go in too. Nothing gets wasted. Then I add a splash of apple cider vinegar to help pull out the nutrients, throw in some spices, fill it with water, and stick it in the Instant Pot for a little bit. A few hours later, I strain it and boom, I've got rich, nourishing bone broth ready for soup season. And it cost me $0 because it was stuff I already had. This is one of the easiest frugal habits you can start, and your future self, plus your grocery budget, will thank you.
Because these are the types of foods that your local food pantry is going to need real bad real soon. Unbleached all-purpose flour. Shelf stable, it doesn't expire, and it's used in all sorts of recipes as a binder or a thickener. It can also be used to make a lot of baked things. Brown and white rice. You can buy a really big bag of it for pretty cheap. You can add it to pretty much any meal as a side. It's a carb, so it's going to help you stay full longer. Oats. They're not just great for breakfast. You can use them for a lot of snacks, and you can even add them to breads. Canned tomatoes. Add them to pretty much any recipe to bulk it up. Canned and frozen vegetables have the same nutritional value as fresh ones, and they're a lot more affordable. Fresh fruit can be expensive and it expires. Go for the stuff in the can. It's shelf stable and it doesn't go bad. Beans can be added to literally anything. If you buy the ones in the bag, you rehydrate them so you get twice as much, way more for your money's worth when you buy dried in a bag. Lentils, a lot of protein, a lot of fiber. You rehydrate them. You can add them to soups, stews, big thing, just to make it go a little further. Potatoes are one of the cheapest and most filling vegetables you can buy. You can eat them for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and you can do so many freaking things with them. Stop buying things pre-done for you that cost you more money. Buy a big head of lettuce instead of a little shredded bag, and you're gonna get twice as much for half the cost. Cottage cheese has a ton of protein and it's really good for you. If you don't like the texture, you can blend it up and you can put it in things like sauces for pasta. Then you don't have to use expensive meat. You can add it to your pasta and still get a little bit of protein in. Yogurt, a lot of protein means it's very filling. You can add it to all sorts of things. If you get the plain kind, add it to smoothies, you can top things with it. Meat is gonna be one of your most expensive things in your grocery cart. Ground beef is super versatile. When you find it on sale, buy more than one and put the rest in the freezer. You can also add half of the meat that a recipe calls for and use beans as a substitute for the other half. Peanut butter. Proteins and fats means that it's filling. You know, at the end of the day, there are a lot worse options than peanut butter. Canned meats like chicken and tuna are gonna help you stretch your dollar full while still getting some protein into your meals. Pasta. Quick, easy, cheap, and it doesn't go bad. Make a really big meal, put the rest in the fridge, and eat it all week. If you do want fresh produce, look for things that are in season. Right now, that's apples, cranberries, sweet potatoes. Those things are gonna cost you less than things we're in season 4 months, like blueberries and strawberries. I know it's hard, I know it's stressful, I know we don't have time. Do your best to make a menu with ingredients. Take an inventory before you go to the grocery store, that way you're not spending more than what you need to on things you don't need. Needless to say, we all deserve nutritious and affordable food.
Here are some of my favorite ways to save money on all of the dumb things you have to pay for as an adult. Cleaning supplies are just one of the dumb things that I hate to have to buy as an adult, but I love me some Dawn Power Wash. This stuff works so well. So when I need a refill, I like to make mine at home, and you can too. For this, you're going to need Dawn dish soap and alcohol, and then we're just going to refill up the Dawn Power Wash bottle. Once you have the bottle, you'll be good to go. We're going to take 4 tablespoons of Dawn dish soap and 2 tablespoons of alcohol, fill the bottle up with water. You're able to create this refill for only 50 cents instead of spending the normal $3.99 that it costs at Target for these refill bottles. Plus, it's better for the environment because we're not buying as much plastic. This is a hack you have to try. The price of groceries is literally out of control right now, so one way that I like to combat that is right now start looking for items that are on a quick sale, like these peppers. These were just about $4 for all of these peppers, so I bring them home, wash them, cut them, put them in a freezer bag, and keep them in our freezer so that when I need them for easy soups, stir fries, different recipes, I'll have them already frozen and I won't have to go out and spend a bunch on either frozen veggies or fresh. And also, as summer is ending and winter's about to start, the price of produce that are out of season are going to be super expensive. So start stocking up now so that you can have frozen corn, frozen berries, frozen apples, so that you can use them for different desserts.
The next one is buying generic. I have almost every generic brand in my house. Very seldomly will you find name brand, and if you do, it's because they were out of the other one, or there's just a few items that I really, really only like the name brand of. One of them being Velveeta cheese. I don't know why, I just like the sliced Velveeta cheese that you put on sandwiches. I like that brand. Other brands, not saying they're bad, that's just the one thing that I will actually spend like 10 more cents on the name brand. This next one is super simple. Check your subscriptions. Go to your Amazon, see what you are paying for each month that you might not even be using. Or if it's on your phone, on your computer, on your TV, wherever you're getting your apps that you're not using, dial in, look at your bank statements and compare. Am I actually using this? Do I need to be paying for this? At one time I was paying for Prime, Disney Plus, Netflix, Philo, and I think another one. Ask me how many times I was using Disney. My kids didn't even watch Disney. They watched their other programs on other things, which was fine. So I canceled that. $7.99 a month, but it adds up. Shop thrift stores. Shop used stores. If you can get a t-shirt for $1 versus going to the big stores for $20 a shirt, clearly you're saving money. And if your family is growing like my young girls and they're constantly in and out of different clothes because this week it fit and last week it didn't, whatever, there's no reason you're not using thrift stores. And the last one, utilize free things that you have in your community. You would be surprised if you go, we have what is called, like, it's our online area newspaper, and you check and you see what events are going on and what's going. They have tons of free stuff or very, very frugal things. Like we have our movie theater here on Tuesdays in the afternoon, especially during the summer. They do like a $2 movies. So that's great. But then we also have free resources like our water parks or the libraries. Our libraries always put on tons of really great events for kids. Anything free or really inexpensive in your community, use that, help them, because if you help your community, it's going to come back to you. You're going to be getting out there, getting your name out there, your family's name out there to where you're going to be getting benefits out of that in more ways than one.